Boom, 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 boom. All right, great morning, everyone. My name is Cohen, one half of the Monday Morning Meetup show. Yeah, hopefully everyone's had a great weekend so far. I see a lot of smiling faces. I see Will Ruha, good to see you this morning, Will. Evelyn Earl, good to see you as well. Brenda over in Tucson, Arizona. It's like 5 o'clock right now, correct? Right? Is that right, Brenda? All right. Same for Michelle over in LA. Actually, we have a guest today. So we're actually going to flip things on you guys today. We're going to do things a little bit different. We have a special treat for you. We have a guest, someone who I had the opportunity of being on her podcast a couple of days ago. And we had so much fun, and we were able to educate and inform and help so many different people. I said, look, you have to come over here and do a Monday Morning Meetup show. And with enough arm twisting, enough begging, enough pleading, she said yes, but I can't do it on Wednesdays because she has another commitment on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. And I said, look, you know what? Our people aren't picky. We'll take you on a Monday. We'll take you on a Tuesday if we had to, but we got her. Right. So we're going to have an extra special guest that's coming in later on today as we go deeper into the show. Who else do we have? Christina, good to see you as always. James, Kirsten, good to see you as always. James, hopefully I didn't butcher your name there. Let me know. Kari Schultz, good to see you. Josephine, good to see you. Tony Roebuck, good to see you and your background. Jane Johnson, good to see you. Thank you for the really cool message that you sent me, Jane. I appreciate that. I got so many messages over the weekend. I did not get a chance to respond, but I do want to let you know that I did see it. So thank you. Wendy, good to see you this morning as well. Isabella, good to see you. Who else do we have? And I'm actually calling out everyone that actually has their video. So most people that actually, not everyone, but most people who have their video on. All right. So tell me a little bit about your weekend. What's been going on with your weekend over the last couple of days? We're starting to shift seasons here, right? So now, especially here, here in North Carolina, it's a little bit finicky because it could get cooler. It hasn't gotten cold yet, but it could get cooler one day. And then the next day, it's right back up to 85, right? And then you'll see that dip, and then you'll see where it'll be cooler, and then it'll get back to, 85, 80, 90 degrees. And you're like, okay, well, what's going on here? So how's it been for you guys? Good to be back and tell everyone hi, especially my mentor. And I'm gonna try to pronounce this word that you have. Not even try. We don't do try here, right? Pronounce this word and we'll see if it's right. Right? In the state of instable, tie. Did I get that right? Did I get it? Am I close to it? That's why it's good to have smart friends. The reason why Caroline and we come in and we join this show every Monday and Wednesday is because it's good to be around smart people. So thank you, Will. Aaron says, I love this cooler weather. Aaron, Caroline and I were actually talking about you, all good stuff, all right, yesterday. So all really good stuff, really inspired by what you have going on. Isabel says, festival yesterday in the mid 80s near San Diego. You know, we have our festival out here as well. It started Thursday, I believe, Thursday or Friday. James said we had a wonderful cloud cover for the eclipse. How many people had a chance to see the eclipse that took place the last couple of days? It was over in, I think it was in the Southwest. So if you were out like in southern New Mexico, you got a chance to see it. If you were out in the northern part of lower Americas, you were able to see it. So they called it like the ring of fire. So basically what you see just the edges of the moon, right? Which looked really cool. And then I saw something where I was watching something on YouTube, and I think it was Santa Fe, New Mexico, where you were able to see the eclipse. And it just so happens that they had their hot air balloon festival take place at the same time. So you had 500 different hot air balloons that were up there in the air, and you've got this solar eclipse. And it was talk about a beautiful, beautiful scene there, right? So I actually put that on my vision board. So look, when you guys start to see these really cool things, I said, I never even knew that this thing existed. So I said, next year, my goal is to be out there. I don't know if I'm going to get in a hot air balloon. That's the next level. right? But my goal is to be out there and at least from the ground, be a spectator, right? It's going to take a lot of, goal setting and visualization and belief and praying before I actually get in one of them. So we'll see what happens there. All right, Christine, I might need your help, Christine Curry, with that. All right. So, all right. So, Caroline, let me know once you come on. I think Caroline might have had some computer issues. All right. Actually, she's got her appointment with her mom this morning, so she is a little bit late here. So we're going to talk about our topic today. All right. While we wait for Caroline and while we wait for our guests to come in, and I'm actually going to go in and tag everyone on Facebook, because today's topic, I think, is going to be one that everyone needs to kind of hear. All right. Everyone needs to hear. And Justin, yes, we are going to the state fair. So Justin, who's also here in North Carolina, he just said, hey, are you going to the state fair? And absolutely, I will be at the state fair. It is one of those things that I do not miss. So here's how we do the state fair. So typically we go twice, right? And now that my granddaughter is of age, and what I mean by of age is she's 6 years old, she's walking. She can say, hey, Grandpa, I need to go to the bathroom, right? Those are important. She could say, I'm thirsty. Now we're going to go 3 times. Because what we do is we used to take our children, and now that my daughter Summer is 16, she doesn't want to go with us anymore. She went like on Saturday, right, with her friends. So she went on Saturday with her friends. Me and my wife typically go together. So we'll go one night, we'll find a good night, and we'll go together. So typically it's like during the day, during a weekday when it's not too busy, and we can go in and we can just enjoy the scenery. And then now, like I said, my granddaughter is of age and she can walk and talk. And the most important thing is use the bathroom on her own, where I don't have to change diapers because I don't do diapers. Now we'll take her as well, and we'll take my nephew. So we're going to take them Thursday during the day. All right. So with that said, yes, that answers your question there. Right. So I see Caroline. Caroline, how's your day going so far?
Yes, great, thank you. Just in from taking my mum to her Monday appointment. So a little bit, I was messaging you earlier from the waiting room, so it's always a little bit tight, and today it was a little bit late just getting back, but just grateful that she gets these appointments, Yeah. And I can take her, because I couldn't do that when I was working, in an office all day for somebody else. So at least I'm able to spend time with her and take her there on a Monday. Yes. So that went well.
Attitude of gratitude there, right? Looking at it.
Yeah. You were just sort of driving back, I messaged you, but I don't think you saw it. And so a few people here, I messaged Roshan and Philip, I don't know if they're here, just to say it's going to be another 5 minutes till I'm in. But, I was getting a bit stressed, but then I thought, it's fine. Nothing I can do. I'm here to do that. You've got this thing under control. More than under control, and you've got the quotes as well, which you may not have got to yet.
Not yet. We haven't gotten to it. We were talking about hot air balloons and state fairs, and children
like you do.
Children that can use the bathroom on their own. So that's as far as we got so far. So we're talking about the state fairs here in North Carolina. It comes every year. I mean, we get millions of people that go through this thing, and I was talking about how we typically would go 3 times. We would go with our kids. Well, 2 times. We would go with our kids, and then we would go alone. But now that our youngest, Summer, is 16, she went with her friends. If Tyler was home, my 19-year-old, he would definitely go with us, right? He would go with mom and dad. There's something about the difference in children, right? So
these things, are these state fairs? Are they like rides and stalls and all that sort of stuff? Yeah, like they are here. Yeah, food. Everything. Unhealthy food everywhere that you just got to eat.
Unhealthy food everywhere. Yeah. Which is why this is the reason why I'm so disciplined with my eating. It's just so that once a year I can go to the state fair and just like pick out.
Eat popcorn. Popcorn's not bad, but some popcorn isn't bad, but candy floss. Do you have candy floss over there?
What would candy floss be?
This big, honestly, it's like cotton wool thing on a stick.
Like candy.
Candy, what do you call it?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. We call it candy floss.
Candy floss. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna ask for some candy floss.
Candy floss. The UK doesn't even use the word candy, so we've got that from you guys, but we've put it a different spin on it, I guess.
Wow. What do
We
you
say
guys use?
sweets.
I'm curious.
We say sweets, not candy. We call, which is crazy because sweet is a dessert as well.
Yeah.
So when we want, I don't know, chocolate or all those gummies and all those things that people eat, then we ask for sweets, not candy. But there's a lot of American stores here as well, so we're getting used to candy. It's all merging into one, isn't it, in the world? So
Yeah.
you never quite know if something's British or American anymore.
Which is
We do
scary.
so much together.
The merging is a good thing, but it's also kind of scary because look, when you go to different countries or even just different regions, right, of a planet, you want to go there for their uniqueness. You don't want to see the same damn thing that you saw at home. Like I don't want to go over to France and see Walmart, right? Like I don't want that. I want to see what the French would normally go. Right?
I think a low point for me in life was when we went to Hong Kong once years ago and we ended up in McDonald's. I was like, what the heck? How did we get here? You know, when we've got all these other great restaurants. I don't quite know the reason why we did. I think I was in a party with other people and it was like the overall vote. So yeah, but it tasted just the same as it does over here in McDonald's. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's it is so it's so joined up now. But yeah, when you go to America, you want to go to steak houses and the things you have over there. When you come here, you want to have traditional British food, you know, pies and things.
Yeah, there's Lord George said there's a McDonald's everywhere you go. You know what? So the one thing about the McDonald's that I've noticed outside of America is there's different types of pies and desserts and things like that. When we went to Thailand, they had just a variety of different things. Over in the UK, I noticed that as well, in France as well. Here in the US, we get an apple pie, and that's it. That's it. It's just, and it doesn't even look like an apple pie. They should call it something sort of like an apple pie. That's what they should call it, something like an apple pie. All right, so there we go. All right.
We always come to talk about pies, don't we? Somehow on the Monday morning meetups. Absolutely.
I am a skinny fat person inside, deep down inside of my head. And I mean that with all respect. And what I mean is, look, Lenny the boss, you guys know Lenny, right? So I love when he comes around, and he sent me a text last week. He's like, hey, cuz I want to come down. Let me know what days I can come down and spend with you and Melida and the family. And he does this every once in a while. He'll come down and he'll just hang out with us for a few days because he says it gives him his positivity fix, which I'll take that, right? I think that's a good thing. He's like, look, I like being around you and the wife and the kids, and I just get this good vibe. And then, you know, he goes back. But Lenny and I both like food a little bit too much. So when he comes by, it's easy for us to go to 2 to 3 different restaurants in a day.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're just gluttonous beyond gluttonous, right? And if we go to like a tapas restaurant, it's just insane because it'll be the 2 of us, and then there's all of these little dishes on the table because we want to sample just everything. All right, so
yeah. But you know, you're both fit and healthy, so you know that's the thing, isn't it? I think when you eat like that, if you're in alignment and you're not doing it every day, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing. It's the vibe, isn't it? The food.
It is the vibe.
It really is.
All right. So what quote do we have? Our guest is here. I don't see her. I don't see her name. She's here, but I don't see her. I gotta find her here. So what quote do we have today?
Yeah, we've got a major surprise today because we've got a guest on a Monday, which we don't normally do. We did a swap this week, so that's really exciting. We're going to talk about how it's great to have goals and strategies, but it's the execution that has to take place. And often, and I've been guilty of this in the past, you know, sort of having all these things I want to do, and in the present have all these things I want to do, but actually some of them I'm not executing on. So I've got to make a decision to execute or park, you know, for later. So we want to really focus on execution, and I'm going to be doing this tonight when I run the Fast Pass training. So I've got a couple of quotes, and I want to share both. The second one's really short about execution, and these are ones that I pulled from Brainy Quotes website. So you may know these people. These people might be sort of CEOs of companies. I'm not familiar with the names, but let's just assume they know what they're talking about, because they do. And the first one is by Naveen Jain, and I'll pop that in the chat throughout the session today, but it's success doesn't necessarily come from breakthrough innovation, but from flawless execution. A great strategy alone won't win a game or a battle. The win comes from basic blocking and tackling. So I'll just say that again. Success doesn't necessarily come from breakthrough innovation, but from flawless execution. A great strategy alone won't win a game or a battle. The win comes from basic blocking and tackling. That's Naveen Jain, as in Jain, and Naveen is Naveen. And the second one is by Mark V. Hurd, Hurd. And this one is, and I like this one, without execution, vision is just another word for hallucination.
Wow, that's a different spin on it, right? Talking about
putting
a spin
like
on
that.
it. Without execution, vision is just another word.
Another word for hallucination.
Hallucination. Wow. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all been there, you know, those times when we've had visions and goals not executed, and then actually possibly that would have been for a reason. And even sometimes I think, because when we talk about procrastination, I think sometimes procrastination might be just a sign that you're doing the wrong thing, or you don't want to do what it is you're just about to start, and then just go and do something else, you know. But I think that there's the difference between that and, let's say you've decided you've got a vision and a strategy, you've actually invested in it, you might have bought a program, you know, you've just come into that, brought a lady into the Fast Pass training yesterday, and she's decided she's got a strategy vision, she's already executing, she knows what she wants. But it'd be a bit like her getting that program and then in a year's time telling me she's not got any content out yet. Now there might be a good reason for that. I wasn't straight away publishing as soon as I got the course. I don't know why, but I don't know what went on there. But unless there's a reason that's completely physically prevented her from doing it, you know, she's going to be thinking a year down the line, wow, that's a year that I haven't executed. Look where I could be in a year, you know. So it's a big deal, I think, isn't it? I bought programs and not executed. I don't know if you have time.
Yeah, 100%. I've got.
So no judgment, just the importance of taking action, you know, when you.
Oh, I judge myself all the time. 100%. Hey, Ty, you're slacking. What the hell did you buy the program for and you're not acting on it?
No judgment anyone else. We're allowed to judge ourselves. Yeah,
we're allowed to judge ourselves, right? Yeah. So speaking of judging, here's someone that I want to judge because, man, I got her up at before 5 o'clock because she had to get time to get ready, right? She's on the West Coast there. This is the one and only Tiffany Largie, who you guys remember from KCF Live. How many people remember having Tiffany join us on KCF Live? Tiff, was it what, a year ago? A year and a half?
I think it's actually a little over 2 years ago, and it was 3:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. Next time I see you, I really owe you a very nice dinner. So thank you for at least. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So look, I'm going to jump right into this because we got a lot that we're going to cover. I want to talk about how to develop the courage to act on your dreams, right? How to execute on these things. And I couldn't think of anyone better than you to bring on for this topic here. Look, Tiffany is a global speaker and trainer. She's trained just literally thousands and thousands of people across the planet. She's a 7-figure business owner, has made multiple 7 figures, probably 8 figures by now. I don't want to undermine any of your accomplishments, so correct me on that. She's the host of the Set It On Fire podcast, which I had a chance to be a guest on a few days ago. And I was telling my wife, I was telling Melody, Tiffany, that, look, I've done well over 100 different podcasts in my life. Probably more than that. And yours was the absolute best, hands down. I don't know if it's because we are friends. I don't know if it's because, I think it's more because you just asked the right questions. And I got off of that thing. I mean, it was long as hell, I'll tell you that. But,
it was.
I got off of it like feeling so energized and ready to take on the planet. And it was a combination of the questions that you asked and the energy that you brought. So I came back saying to myself 2 things. Number one, I'm going to go back and watch the recordings. What can I learn from what we did? And number 2, you let me talk, which I'm not really the best at, right? So sometimes if I'm interviewing someone, I'll let them say something, and then I want to say mine too. And then after I say it, I'm like, Ty, you're not the one being interviewed. Let the damn guest talk. So today I'm going to let you talk 100%. So Tiff is also the owner of a brand, Do the Damn Thing Nation, right? So Do the Damn Thing Nation, DTDTN. Here's something new that I found out about you, that I knew you always spoke English, but you speak 3 languages, technically. You speak English, Spanish, and sign language. You're looking at me like, what languages is he gonna throw out there?
No, I am. I'm like, I actually speak, well, when I fool around, I speak 5 languages. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
I speak, I'm going to add on French and a language called Patois, which is native to the country that I'm from, Jamaica.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. So
Mhm.
right. So my daughter Summer, we've got a friend, Michelle, who's also Jamaican. And you know how Jamaicans can switch back and forth,
Yes.
right? Usually if
Yes.
there's a little bit of frustration or anger or something like that, or whatever. So Summer, our friend Michelle, who's been around us forever, all of a sudden she switches into patois, and Summer's like, what's going on? I never heard of them.
What's going on? What's that about?
Right. And then, Mel went in and explained to her, like, it's just the coolest thing ever. So Tiffany, glad to have you. I want you to re-meet Caroline Trainer, my host here on the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to meet you.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Great. Yeah. Or brilliant, as I often say.
Brilliant. That's it.
Yes.
Awesome. Brilliant. There we go. So execution.
Yes.
How does someone go from, look, Caroline just said, we buy these courses sometimes, we'll go to an event sometimes, we'll attend a virtual event sometimes, and we have all of the intention of executing, but then we get back and life starts lifing.
Life starts lifing. I love this word. Life starts lifing.
That's been the new one so far. I've been life will life. You just have to understand that life is going to life.
Correct.
I just say that I'm gonna let the damn guest talk. So talk to.
Well, the truth is that life is going to hand you life cards on the days, the weeks, and the months when we just either don't expect it or we really don't want it. And as you asked me that question, I think of 2 things for myself in my life, and I hope that in this moment, not really, my goal is not to inspire you, your audience, but really to help the person, whoever you are, who has said to themselves, I'm behind, I should be further along. How come I haven't done this thing? It's not working out for me. As I was getting ready at 3:45 in the morning to head to our studio, and right now I'm sitting in one of the companies I own, a studio, I was thinking to myself that a year ago, I could barely walk in this very month. And I woke up from a surgery and a long year of being diagnosed last year feeling behind. You are at the top of your game on February 1st, and on February 10th, I'm rushed to the hospital and I have surgery. Now, my reason for sharing this is because I know how easy it is to get behind on not the thing we need to execute, but the vision that we're holding on to. And
Mm.
I really want each and every person, regardless of where you are today, to kind of own and sit inside of this statement. Whatever course you've bought, whatever class you've attended, whatever workshop, whatever notes you've taken, it's not really about executing the thing. That thing that you did is part of a bigger vision. You have a vision. And I believe wholeheartedly that every single person is given a vision that they're supposed to give birth to. And it's for them to give birth to. And it could be the lifestyle that they're supposed to live because they're supposed to impact the family around them. It's not necessarily something huge. It could be something small, but the key is that it's okay to have not getting it done. But it's not okay to now know today that you need to get it done and not do something different tomorrow.
That's powerful. Like you just said, your vision, and I'm going to write this down. It could be something that needs to be done. Like it could simply be you living a certain lifestyle, right? And whatever the
Totally.
lifestyle is,
Yeah.
if you like to go hiking, right? That could be your thing. And now you are influencing others that it's possible. Man, I had the other day, I'm going to make this really quickly to stand on my promise. The other day, I'm at the gas station. I'm
Yeah.
pulling up, right? And it's one of these older Southern gas stations where there's just one pump on each side, two pumps, the entire gas station. And I'm pulling up, and right behind me is another car, a Jeep,
Mhm.
right? And they pulled up right behind me, and I thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, well, why didn't they go to the other pump? Are they just gonna wait until I'm done? So I get out and I start pumping, and this mom and her two little daughters get out. So mom's holding the baby, had to be about 1 year old, maybe less than that. And then the daughter, who I come to find out was 11 years old. And the mom's like, you know, we saw you about a mile up. And the daughter's like, oh my God, mom, look at that car. Like, it's fantastic, right? And then they
Mm.
pull up and they're like, they saw and it was like, oh my God, it's a black guy too. This is what the daughter says, right? Now they're Haitian, right? So so the mom goes in and she has this conversation with her, but she says, I'm gonna pull up because I want you to see what's possible for you. Hopefully we'll talk to you. So we got out and we ended up talking for like 10 minutes, and I'm sharing with this young lady that anything is possible.
Totally.
Like, here, sit in the car. I want you to take some pictures, have your mom take some pictures, and I want you to envision yourself becoming the person that's needed to get a car that's much better than this, and the people that you're going to impact and the person that you're going to become to get this, right? And so long story short, that goes back to what you said, like sometimes even living a lifestyle. I didn't
Yes.
this individual, right? These people, but hopefully the 10 minutes that I spoke, and I'm not going to go into detail as to what I shared for, because I planted some seeds, but I think will be.
Yeah.
It speaks
So
to what
you're
you
right.
said.
You're so
Yeah.
right. So right. You know, and the wildest part about this vision thing is that, like, your responsibility in the vision that you've been given is to actually execute it. That's the one responsibility that you have. The responsibility that we have is not just to hold on to it. It's
Yeah.
not to keep it safe. It's not to keep talking about it. It's not to keep tucking it away. It's actually to give birth to the damn thing. So in this idea, when I say lifestyle, it could really be because your responsibility and the bigger vision is to not inspire, but to teach someone by actions, to transform your family, to change your culture or your country, and maybe something a little different. Like for me, my responsibility is to reach hundreds of thousands of people every month. But to Ty teaching me last week that my number needs to be clear. And what is it? 100 million people a year?
Mine is to positively impact the lives of 100 million people a year in some form or fashion, whether that's making
Period.
someone laugh, maybe it's inspiring someone, maybe it's
Totally.
letting them know that they can come through a situation that Tiffany came through, not being able to walk a year ago, and now dropping jewels and sharing some incredible information with people.
And can I say before we go on, and again,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it short because Tiffany, I know there's going to be so much to extract and we're going to discuss. But one of the things when you said about this idea that we're all behind a bigger vision, the vision that we're supposed to live up to. I think this is really important what you said, because so many people, and I speak to many people like this, they're like, I don't want to sort of go off and be a big online entrepreneur and do this out there and do that out there. You know, my vision is, and they say something very specific about, you know, right here, right now. And like you said so cleverly, it isn't about, because sometimes people have a vision and it's for somebody else. They actually deep down don't really want to do it, wouldn't make them happy. So I think it's about having a vision that you that's going to stretch you, but you resonate with. And that could be, you know, get financially secure, enhance the lives of my kids, give them all the opportunities, and be the best role model. And that vision may change in another 10 years or 5 years. Because I think people judge themselves if they haven't got these big billionaire visions, you know, and then they halt because they don't execute at all because they're confused, you know?
Yes, they're confused. It's like an internal conflict. They're literally living in like an internal warfare, and it doesn't feel good. The truest part about vision in its purest form is that, like execution, it's okay if you didn't do it on time. So I woke up last year in the month of maybe August or so, and I had gotten diagnosed. I have a disease called neuromyeloptic optica, which is commonly known as NMO. And as I thought to myself, spending an 8, 9, 10 months with a million doctors, I had so many plans walking into last year. I had so many things that I had moved and done and created, and I felt so behind. I felt behind. And I remember saying to myself around the month of November, it's like the day after Thanksgiving, I was like, I might be behind, but I am not dead. And as long as I am alive and I have breath, that I have plenty of time to finish the damn thing and to execute the vision. And I share that with you because the coolest thing about making a decision, which is what most of the people here and most of the people around the planet need to do, it's like we get caught up in thinking that we make a decision one time. And for me, it was acknowledging the fact that I'm still here and I have plenty of breath. And for whatever breath or weakness or challenges that I have the capacity to ask for help. So that's step number 1. 2, it is being clear and open. So I had to reach out to people who it made me uncomfortable and say, hey, listen, this is what's happening in the world and I need help because I still got to execute this vision. Are you going to help me? Yes or no? So at the end of this moment, it's like, are you going to help me? Yes or no? Some of the times we tell people our vision. And my mom, when I was growing up, my mom, I shouldn't say my mom, in my culture, it is really common. And I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida. I want everyone to have context. So you have multiple
which is
people from
basically
different-
Jamaica.
Which is basically Jamaica, correct. They just need to cut it off and let this thing float in the West Indies. I'm
It's
dead
one
serious.
half Cuba, one half Jamaica. That's what.
Correct. That's exactly it. And so it's very common for people to be like, no, don't tell people your vision. Don't tell people what you're working on. Because what if it doesn't happen? Don't tell people, don't keep it to yourself and work on it privately. I think that's one of the stupidest advices ever. And the reason why is because I cannot do this thing myself. Sometimes you're holding on to a vision that's just too big for you. And more importantly, you don't have all the skills. So if I keep this thing to myself and I don't breathe life to it, but more importantly, I don't talk about it, then the people, what I found was that the people who had the tools, the pieces of the puzzle, the things that I needed to actually finish the puzzle, they just needed to hear, one, that I was serious about building this puzzle, and 2, they needed to know what pieces I was holding on to and where I was in the process of execution. The craziest thing for me was last year making the decision first and then making new decisions every day.
Making new decisions.
So, because we don't just make a decision once, right, Ty? Like you have to recommit to the decision every day. Like I remember there was a point when Ty was like, all of a sudden, I am going to be going to the gym at like 5 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
Some number like that. And I remember when he started telling me about a lot of the commitments he was making. And I thought to myself, this is years ago, I was like, why is Ty doing that at this level of his game? But then he started talking about the fact of how much he loved working out and it was excited about getting to the gym in the morning. But more importantly, he reminded me that every single day that we wake up and we decide to get in the car, it's actually a brand new decision. We can't live off of the decisions we made 2 weeks ago. Every week we're making, like, we have to make a brand new decision every flipping day. So here I am today at the end of the next year. And I really feel wholeheartedly my greatest lesson to myself, which is why I'm sharing with each person, is that you're either doing the damn thing in this life or you're not. Yeah. And when I got an opportunity to live with conditions, I said to myself, I am not going to be in the middle. And I started asking myself this question, which I'm going to ask each person to just write down just for you. If you could dream and dream wildly to the point where the thing made no sense, if you could reimagine what your vision looks like, or whatever it is you're working on, or whatever it is you need to execute, or let me actually say this, whatever is on the other side of your execution. If you could dream and dream wildly to the thing where this thing made no sense, it seemed crazy to talk about out loud, where would you take your vision? What would you build? When I started to ask myself this question, and I got a new feel for how much time I actually have left while I'm on this planet, I realized that I didn't need to execute with perfection, or even knowing how I was going to do it. I just needed to I literally just needed to swing the bat.
Man, that holds us.
That's so powerful.
I don't need to execute with perfection. I just need to get up there and swing the bat, right? It's
literally, that's
all of us. In some form or fashion, it's all of us.
It is. It's crazy, but swinging the bat is kind of the thing that we miss out in the picture. We're like, oh, I'm getting ready to get ready. I'm getting ready to get ready for the readiness that the ready is going to happen. I'm in my office all day doing something that looks like busy work when I am just not executing. I'm preparing to execute. And what I really understood was that I can't execute, like, you can't actually execute without action.
Yeah. Yeah, and this time of the year, it's so easy, isn't it? To then say, January, everyone's busy and we haven't got time for that new project, that new vision, or we haven't got the skills, or we think that we haven't, or whatever. And there's two things you said there that's so important for so many people here, is that this, and we all do it to an extent, different people at different levels. You get to a particular time of the year or of the week or of the month where you just think, okay, well, you know what, this hasn't happened this week, so I'm just going to schedule it in. I'm going to launch this thing 1st of January.
Yes.
And but the other thing you said is, so many times people their vision seems huge, or it is huge.
Yeah.
And they don't ask for help. And then you just stumble, don't you? Because you're not going to execute when you sort of don't know the different pieces. You know what you can bring to the table, but anything that's worth a big piece and success is going to need other people to help you with it, not just clients, but people around you to help you. And I've reached out to people that I've brought into our program recently. I thought, you know what? I haven't given people as much attention in the last few months because I've been working on other stuff. So I thought, I'm just going to reach out to some people that are really quiet, that I brought into the community. They're not engaging in the group. They've obviously got lots of stuff going on. And I just reached out saying, please don't be stuck. You must ask for help. These are the resources. This is where we go. And often they came back and said, yeah, I am stuck. And so, okay, let's just have a quick 20-minute call then and talk that through, because we've all been there. So it's so easy, especially if you're part of a big community or a big project, or if you start publishing, for example. There's so much to do, or it feels so big. That actually just a conversation for 20 minutes or half an hour with someone can really help you move and procrastination's got such a negative connotation, but help you move from zero to action, you know. So people get stuck and then they judge themselves. Oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I've been talking about this thing for ages and I'm still not so they start to beat themselves up, as opposed to, okay, make the decision, tomorrow make new decisions, or today make new decisions. So what you said there, so powerful, isn't it? You just hold back.
Yeah, totally.
There's a way to frame it for the person who's taking notes. And yes, it's make a decision and make a new decision. But the actual statement that I play in my head and that's written down in my office is Tiffany, make the decision. And then the next day, Tiffany, make the decision right.
Make the decision and then make the decision right.
Yeah, because like if you make a decision and it's not working out, it's the wrong decision or it needs adjustments. The reminder is that I can make the decision right the next day.
You can always go back and fix it, right? Like
I
think
can go back.
Yeah, we can erase, and Jim Rohn talks about that. Like at any moment, you could totally revolutionize your entire life. You could change up. You can ball up this script, throw it in the garbage, and write yourself a new one.
Totally.
One of the things that I learned from you is, and I am still working on this because I'm not. Traditionally, I have not been the best at it, and that is asking for help. You know, when you went through your situation, you asked myself, you asked Milton, who's a friend of ours. We got to get Milton on the show. I forget about Milton. And it was just a reminder to ask for help and to ask people to bring the best of them, right? So what you did, and I noticed this, you did not only ask for help, but you asked, hey, bring the best. You didn't say it that way, but that's what you were saying. That's what I got out of it, right?
Yes.
How does someone ask for help? So someone put in the chat box, right? So I'm going to go back to this because I want to make sure that I quote this individual correctly. So Tracy Grace says, my problem is being able to pay for the right help right now. What do you say to the person who doesn't have the funds to go in and pay for help?
You know,
I don't think that's. Oh, sorry. I didn't think that that's where you were going. I didn't think you were going with like ask for paid help. Or am I wrong in that?
For me? Is this question for me?
Yeah. Yes. I didn't. No, I was asking myself.
You were talking out loud and
right,
thinking
talking out loud, right. Hoping that they don't bring the straight jacket, but go ahead.
I was right there with you. Asking for help. So all the help that I asked for was not paid help. I want to also start there. Yep. I made myself, so it's easy to feel that you're less than and then ask for help, but you're also saying this, hey, if you could help me, it'd be okay. But if you can't help me, then don't worry about it. I completely understand. I mean, I really do need the help. But if you're too busy to help me, if you got a lot going on, don't worry, I'll figure it out. That's a place of like, if you've ever found yourself in that place, the dish that we're in, so to speak, is like not owning your value and not feeling value or worthy enough. Right. The toughest and hardest thing is to be direct and whole. And in the wholeness, you literally need to say exactly what you need. So for example, my phone call to Ty last year was, hey, Ty, I need help, but this is exactly what's going on. Are you going to help me? Yes or no? Yep.
And can you bring your team in? I remember you asking that as well.
I was like, and the thing is that I want you to understand, I've never asked Ty for any help like that before. Most people would be intimidated to ask for that kind of help from anybody, let alone from Ty. And I think the truth is that I had a moment for me where it's like, I'm worthy enough for me to use my human card in this equation and not my status card in this equation. We get caught up sometimes, especially in the online space, or in the small business space or whatever we're doing, where we feel that our status has to be the thing that we carry. I'm a 6-figure, 7-figure, 12-figure. I have 55 Bentleys. I have this house. But I never talk to Ty in those terms ever. And that is not the foundation of our friendship or relationship. It is 100% my human card,
Yeah.
where I talk about what is actually happening in my life. And I want to remind everybody, like right now, I promise you, your human card is the one thing that is you're at the same level as everybody else. You're at the same level, you have the same magnitude, we bleed the same, we are going through the same aches, especially when we figure out our knees are not functioning most of the time, when we bend down and we really can't get up. Let me just get my own amen right here. Like, are you kidding me? When I counted how many more gray hairs I had, when I counted the fact that I was like, my knee is hurting. And my daughter was like, well, mom, your knee was hurting yesterday. I was like, yeah, because I had to bend down 4 or 5 times. And then, it's like that. If you can think and ask yourself, what would happen if I just told people the truth? What if I always gave them the truth in the word vulnerability? Then they have their own truths going on in their life, regardless of how much money. And that opens the door for a human plea, can you help me, versus a half-baked plea.
Yeah, that is the hardest thing to do, though, right? For some
Yeah.
people, is being open, being vulnerable, and giving people the truth.
The truth, the truth,
The,
the
the
truth.
very right, especially with
Yeah.
social media, because now we see so many untruths, right? We see so many little bow wow plays that are out there
Yes.
where people are taking fake pictures in front of a jet and acting like it's theirs, right? And all of that
Correct.
stuff. So how do you get to a point where you're comfortable with doing that? Where you're comfortable with, number one, recognizing the value? Because you said something that's really important, where most people want to talk to you based on your, and I don't want to screw this up, you said your human card, right? Based off of your human card.
Yes, like because it's like if you use your human card in the equation, you'll always win, because that's the one place that you and I are connected. Like everybody here, regardless of where we were born, what languages we speak, what our background, our homes, like we're human. And that card is going to be the strongest card in the game that I have in everything, like in all plays, in all stages I could step to.
Robert Cialdini talks about if you want to connect with something, first find something that you have in common to connect with that person with. So guys, you might see where guys might start talking about sports, or they might start talking about the game, right? Something. If I'm coming up to Caroline and I know that she's from a certain town, but I can mention something about that town. Man, I passed through and it was amazing. Right. So having that connection. I think what you bring to this is we have as humans so many connections that we don't even think about. Right. The connection of having children and the trials and tribulations and the glory of that, right? The connection of maybe getting older, the connections of, whatever it may be. And we can use that to our advantage there to a degree.
Yeah, and I think what I'd like to do, Ty, if it's okay, I want to take like just a minute and try to give a roadmap for like how could you start? Because for me, I felt like last year I started over, which is why I'm hoping that this is relevant. And if it's not, please ask me the question so I can better give you the answer, because I really want to make sure you have the thing to win.
Well, I want to ask in the chat box, how many people here at some point recently thought that you were starting or felt, or even now feel like you're starting over? Just put me in the chat box if you feel like, at some point recently or even now you're starting over.
That's me. I'm the first me. I can't write in the chat box, but that's me. 100%.
Look at all of the me's. There's a ton of people saying me, more than I actually thought would pop up here. So I think this is really timely.
It's like we feel like we're starting over, and then we feel bad about ourselves. I am the CEO. I have 5 companies. One of the ones that I made bigger and stronger was the studio that I'm sitting in, and I felt so behind, and I also felt lost. I felt behind and I felt lost because I felt like no one understood me. I also didn't really understand myself because I was just battling these symptoms with no real answer. I have a ton of responsibility. I got a couple of kids who are in college who still call me mom, and they moved back home to live with me so that they can make sure that their bills are covered.
Right.
And then I have a 13-year-old who's a brainiac and loves going to school. So the first thing I did, I'm going to give everybody this roadmap. The first thing I did was, and everybody could do the same thing. So you're either going to head to your Rolodex on your phone, or you're going to head to your Rolodex on social media. And believe it or not, every single friend that you have. So if you can take a peek at the friends that you have and the number. So if you have like 858 friends on Facebook, 2,000 friends on LinkedIn, believe it or not, that's your Rolodex, and you need to start treating it as such, but not your Rolodex to sell to, your Rolodex to be human to.
Oh, wow.
If you are focused on selling or positioning a thing or an opportunity, that's the loss. So the first thing is identifying your Rolodex and like holding it up. Behold, my Rolodex. So that's first. The second thing I did was I decided on a day to make a public statement about the truth. Some of you might do that in like especially if you're starting over, and it may just be here in this community. Maybe you're like, I really need a mastermind buddy, or you're like, I really need more help from the support that's here. Or maybe not. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, things are hitting the fan and I need help in my relationship. My children are AWOL. This and this is happening. So you make a public statement in one of these forms, either through audio, through video, or through text. My public statement, I did the day after Thanksgiving. And why? Because it's like a declaration moment. It's a recorded declaration moment, but not for the world. It has nothing to do with getting likes or followers. It's for you. It's so that you go, today is the day. Today is my new day. Today is my tomorrow. Today is my new day. Today is my tomorrow. I'm going to do things differently as of today. If you just wake up and do it, but you don't document it, it's like half baked, and you have the potential to not make it real. You could walk back. You could be negotiable. You catch a cold that Friday and, oh, I was trying to start this thing, but now I'm sick, so I have an excuse. I wanted to make sure that everyone pinned my ass to the wall and that I could not turn back from the commitment that I was making to myself, even though I didn't feel physically well, even though I didn't have all the answers, even though I had not found medication, even though. So, and if you want to see a version of my public statement, I decided on video. And it is pinned to the top of my personal Facebook. And I think it should be accessible to everyone. I don't think you have to send me a request, but it has been pinned there for a year, and it'll be hell or high water before I take it off, because it is my public statement. In it, you watch me, my hair is not done. I don't have no makeup on. I literally drove to the studio, turned on a camera, and fought back tears. You hear me multiple times going to the person in the studio with me, I can't do this. I can't do this. Because I want to shut the camera off.
You can curse down here. You just got to pay $1 every time you curse, but you can curse.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to ask my good friends in high places, Ty, if they could pay the $1 for me. This is so sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, where I'm from, culturally, that word is not a curse word. So it has been very hard for me. It's very hard for me coming out of Miami and getting into the real country of the United States and learning that. So I do apologize, everybody.
Well, I'm half Jamaican too, because
He's always cursing. Don't feel bad.
Every time.
The truth though is that I just started with the truth. Yeah.
And I just shared you a link to Tiffany's Facebook page, guys, if you want to go in. I do highly recommend that you follow her. Is Facebook the best platform to follow you on?
If you want to ask me a question or something like that, like if anybody has a question or something, I'm very open. Like you can actually ask me a question. I'm not going to try to sell you something. We don't do that. We're not interested in that. So LinkedIn would be a great place if you have like a black and white question. Facebook is the last place that I hang out in. I'm only going to go there to see what trip Ty is taking this month. I mean, that's probably the only real reason why I go. And I'm like, Dubai? Damn, I got to go to Dubai. So that's about it. But outside of that, no. However, Facebook, I knew I could pin and leave forever. So I would say I don't have one. You know that, Ty? So that's one of the things, like post me getting sick. I really don't have an online place. I would say wherever you choose to and whatever feels good to you, I promise you I will respond. It will not be in 24 hours, but you will actually get a response from me because I respond to all of our messages.
Yeah.
Even if my team catches it, they will hand it to me and I will send it out. So that is my promise and guarantee. You do what's comfortable for you and you'll hear from me.
All right. And someone's asking what's your name on LinkedIn. So it's
Just Tiffany Largie.
Yep.
Sorry, I know it says night school here because we don't use Zoom too much. So I didn't realize it's only set up for a program that we run called Night School. So I'm the night school lady. I'm Tiffany Largie.
I actually changed your name. So it says Tiffany Largie Night School. So if you look at her name, guys, that's how you can
Perfect.
find it. So Tiffany, I want to go back to your declaration. When I saw that, because I saw that when you had posted it, I thought it was courageous. I thought it was extremely brave. I thought it was beautiful. Having the declaration out there and being so public with it, even though you didn't have everything, like you said, you didn't have a medication at the time. You didn't know what the future was going to hold. There was a lot of uncertainties. I know we had some conversations, you and I. As a matter of fact, on your podcast, you were talking about the medication that they suggested, and the cost of it was something like
it's $154,000 a dose, and I need it twice a year for the rest of my life. It's $500,000 a year to keep me alive.
Yep. And I thought, look, guys, you never know what someone else is going through. There's a medication that my doctor had prescribed to me, and it was $12,000 a month. And I almost said a couple of curse words when she prescribed it, and once I found out about it. And then when Tiff, you told me about yours, I'm thinking $12,000 is nuts, even if you can afford it, right? I'm like,
yes,
what medical company has the nerve to charge $12,000?
has the nerve.
Right. Then when you told me about the cost of your medication, I was like, oh my God, this is just insane. Because I remember where I was at. I was sitting in in the parking lot at the beach, and you and I had this conversation for about an hour and a half, and we're just talking about things. How does someone go from where they are right now? There's somebody that is listening to this that might be watching it, whose world just totally fell apart. Maybe a day ago, or it's about to fall apart, or it happened a week ago or a month ago. How do they come out of that, and how do they still continue to thrive and survive?
So after I made the declaration, I just needed to get through it. So I encourage everyone to make a decision on where and how they're going to do it. And if you could right now in the chat, if you're the person who wants to make a declaration and this is your opportunity, decide if it's going to be video, text, written, or audio. And can you just put the format that you're going to make the declaration in the chat for me so that I know and I can be in agreement with you. The second thing that I needed to do, because that's the most powerful thing, making a decision. So I made it the night before and I was like, I'm going to do this on video because I can't turn back. The next thing after that was after I made the declaration, I needed to go through my Rolodex and start making phone calls. I just needed to go through my Rolodex. When was the last time you actually just went through your Rolodex and started picking up the phone and calling without an agenda, without a scheduled time, without rules? I literally was like, hi, you remember me? Hey, this is Tiffany Largie. Hey, how you doing? It's Tiffany. Hi, how you doing? It's Tiffany. Then it would be like, John, I just called you. You didn't pick up. Mike, I just called you. I didn't pick up. Ty, you didn't pick up. Tell me what time you can talk. I know this sounds wild, but going through my Rolodex and going through your Rolodex is the most important because you need to get out of your head and you need to start formulating what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. There is a million ways to do something, but there's only the way that's going to work for you. And if you try to adopt everybody else's ideas without allowing yourself in dialogue to get out emotionally. So on these calls, I wasn't shooting the breeze. My call went like this. Ty, it's been months since we've talked. I could have said it's been years, but I need help. And I decided to take the human approach and just pick up the phone and call. Can you talk?
Damn, it was exactly like that too. And that was what, over a year ago?
Hi, Ty, I need help. Those were my first words. I didn't beat around the bush and go, how you doing? How's the kids? How's your wife? How's your business going? Because that's not what I'm picking up the phone for. And this is vitally, whatever I need is important. And I'm asking for help. Here's the best part about the truth. The worst thing that could happen on asking someone for help is they say no. But the best thing that could happen is that they step up to the plate. But by me starting, so the key here is that you have to go first. If you're going to actually get like unstuck as the common word that's being used, or if you're going to get to the next level, you have to go first in the approach.
Yeah.
Me going first was picking up the phone. For people who didn't pick up the phone, I sent an ungodly amount of text messages. And then out of the text messages, I kept talking. So I talked for about 30 days. I just sat on the phone in what I could physically handle, and I just kept talking because I needed to make my current state real to me. And if it wasn't important to other people and they didn't want to help me, I needed to remind myself of how valuable I was and how important me getting the resources that I needed. And with Ty, I didn't say to him, here are the 5 things I needed. It was like, I just need help. You tell me what you got to help me with.
Yeah.
You get what everybody understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes we don't know. Am I alone? Like, have you ever been in that situation where you're like, Flip, I don't even know where the hell I need help, but I know I need some help. It was so hard for me. I'm Tiffany Largie.
Yeah.
But going, hey, I need help, but I need real help. Like I need for real help here. So what do you got?
Can you talk about, like you just said in that when you're asking for help, before doing so, reminding yourself of a state that you're in? What do you mean by that?
Because, like as a woman, it's really easy to hide what you're feeling. And it's like your head's been hurting for 5 days, your knee's been hurting, you have a leg that keeps cramping up. And I have a lot of responsibility. I have a big life. We're knee deep in the entertainment industry, and then I have 3 kids. And I run 5 companies, and I have a physical brick and mortar team. So my responsibility is here. But I could not let those roles and identities be more than the truth of how I was feeling every day. This is how I actually feel. And what's easy is to go, oh, well, it's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that urgent. Also, I needed to give life to the fact that I did feel lost. I needed to give life to the fact that I wasn't okay. I need flipping help. I need help. I couldn't downplay it, because if I downplayed it, then it wouldn't have been urgent for Ty. He wouldn't have sat there for an hour and a half, probably while the world needed him. And here's the thing, like for some people, like I had this conversation yesterday with someone important to me. Like they may think that they're asking for help, but when they are not making it urgent, or they are not emotionally connecting the truth, they mask it with words or things that make them look better, or don't make them look as vulnerable, don't let them look as weak. Then the person on the other side doesn't take them as serious, and or they don't take out all the guns and help them. You get it? Like if I'm stepping to the plate to ask for help, I need everything you have. Like I need as much as not as much as you're willing, like as much as will get me the result that I need, because I really need help. I
Yeah.
just need help.
I think this is so good. I've never heard anyone explain it in the way that you've explained it, because what happens is, look, Wendy just talked about this, right? It takes a certain amount of humility where we want to be humble. We want to downplay the situation. I have been extremely guilty of this myself, especially growing
Yes.
up as someone who's had health issues, right, for a good majority of their life. You want to picture like you have it, right? Like you said, I'm Tiffany Largie, right? So you have to put that to the side and understand that that identity doesn't belong in this situation.
Correct. That's
Mhm.
exactly it.
Yeah. The other thing, Tiff, we're coming up at we're a little bit past the top of the hour, and number one, I didn't know that you were in here as night school, or else we would have got you in a lot sooner. I should have known night school, but I wasn't looking at that. But
It's okay.
we got to get you back. Absolutely. If you guys want to see Tiffany come back, definitely put it in the chat box. If we get enough yeses in there, maybe I can send her the chat by text and bribe her to come in. I've already used one of my bribes this past weekend by getting her to come in on a Monday at 5 a.m. So look at that, Tiff. They definitely want you to come back. We've got so much that we want to talk about. I saw on your Facebook page, as I was going in and researching you and just figuring out all this cool stuff about you, finding this stuff out. There's a quote on your Facebook profile that goes, "I am absolutely certain that everything changes when you stop thinking small." Can you elaborate on that before we close out? I'm absolutely certain that everything changes when you stop thinking small.
Yeah, it's a quote that I wrote for myself about a decade ago. When I was coming up in business, maybe 15, 16 years ago, before I hit my first million, way before that, I was living in Miami. I was putting Jada Maya to bed hungry. And
that's
my
your daughter.
Yes, Jada and Maya are my two oldest babies.
Okay.
And I was putting them to bed hungry. And I was so angry with myself every day. I was so mad with life. I hated God. I was just bitter and frustrated. But every so often I would hear this statement, think big, think big. And I would be like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, how do you think big? And then it was like, okay, well, I make $10.22 an hour. So if I make this $15, if I make $15, is that thinking big? I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't quantify it. I could never figure it. And I felt like it was a distraction because for me, it wasn't pulling out the depth of my potential. So for me moving forward, I made this decision that maybe I didn't know how to think big, but damn it, you won't make me feel small. You won't make me feel small. And that translated to me, Tiffany, don't think small. The truth is that when I stopped thinking small about me and about what was possible on this planet, that's when everything changed. That's when I went from being this hungry, or I should say going to bed hungry, and putting Jada and Maya to bed hungry, to building my first multiple 6-figure businesses and then my first 7-figure business. It's not thinking small. That's the key.
It's that one shift in thinking, right? And then, as you said earlier, it's a combination of making these decisions, and not just once, but multiple times. A decision,
Yeah.
decision,
Yeah.
decision, a decision.
And it's also your success has come from the authenticity about you, in terms of asking for help, being honest about how you're feeling, all those times that were difficult, reaching out for help. Whereas normally ego, for so many people, ego will get in the way of people doing that. And what you do is you sabotage yourself, everyone else, because by being like that, people will then follow suit and be more like that. So everyone is coming on this space on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever they are, from a place of being human, rather than, hi, we just connected 10 minutes ago, do you want to come and have a look at my product, or whatever. But you have said something today, and I don't know, I imagine this has resonated with so many people, women and men, when you were talking about the being brave and not asking for help. I think men, because of the male ego, and women because of our egos, but also the fact that I've been programmed to put a smile on, be okay when you're not okay, and that was my programming in the sort of the corporate world. And I had a huge disaster in February, and I didn't ask for help. And some people came forward to give me help, and that was wonderful, because in this community, but I'm still really still trying to pick up from that event. And if I'd have actually just done what you did, and reached out and asked for help, I mean, this is not good, because it had a net effect on just about everything in the business. So it started again. If I'd have actually just parked that ego of okay, disaster struck, just business disaster, everything was fine health-wise, then I think that it would have been a easier process to go through and a quicker process. So that's really powerful, because I think a lot of us, and there must be other people like this, really struggle with being honest about what they're going through. And it's okay to say, you know, what did you say? I can't allow the truth of how I feel for people not to know that.
Yeah.
Because it's not human, is it? Yeah, I'm fine, everything's great, you know. And even though we have to put it out there and ask for help, and then of course we've got to execute and take action, because we can't stay in that space. But it's just that being able to admit that when things are hard and reach out, even if you don't know whether someone can help you at that point, is really powerful.
Yes. And I just want to leave this to make sure it's intact. A big thing doesn't have to happen for you to ask for help. Like, this is the idea, and my statement is not really just when you have something catastrophic or life hands you a life card. It's whenever you're off track on getting to where you need to get to.
Whenever you're off track on getting where you need to get to.
Yes, because we each have a responsibility to execute the vision, and we have to get there before we leave the planet. Like, those two things, I'm very clear on. That fact is intact. So, like, if you woke up yesterday or you woke up today and you are not racing or you're not able to maintain your momentum at 120 per speed to get to where you need to get to, that's how you know that's the moment you need to ask for help. Period.
And what happens is, like, going back to what you said, Caroline, with your event back in February, you saw where people just, I mean, you got organic help where people just came in once they found out, right? So people want to help.
Yes, they
Just
do.
that sometimes we don't make it known that we need help, you know, as Tiffany was saying, because you saw all of the people that came, Philip, and just everyone that came in. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that's because I'm very much like you, like Tiffany. I'm very human. I am on here how I am.
Oh wait, were you saying you're a human like Tiffany, or were you saying you're a human like me, or would you
Tiffany?
so that means, so that's implying that I'm not human. Damn it, my wife
I
is
said
like
both
that.
of you. I said both of you. But if you're like that, if you sort of command your life like that,
right.
With honesty and being human in the way that you interact in business as well as in life, then people will come out and help, even if you don't ask for it. But also there's something really powerful about saying, I need help, I'm struggling, and can you help me or not? You know, I like the way that Tiffany sort of put that, but also when she said about it doesn't have to be a big thing, that's perfect, because so many people need help over the smaller things, like a little bit stuck in my business, or I've really lost my mojo for the last 3 months. Can you just, you know, talk to me? Can I sort of go through some things with you? They often don't reach out for help because it's not a big thing. It's they're sort of beating themselves up about something, but because it doesn't seem big, they're going to just keep it inside and, you know, and not ask for help. So that's so important, isn't it? That we must sort of reach out. It doesn't have to be disaster when we need help, you know, which is so, so important. So thank you for sharing that. That's so powerful.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway, definitely. Let us know in the chat box, guys, or actually, you know what, let's do something even better. Go into the Facebook group and tag Tiffany, because she is a member of the Facebook group. Let her know what your biggest takeaway from today was. So if you guys can go in and you can do that now. I think this is a special episode that we've had. Tiffany's come in and she's really given us some impactful things. My biggest one was ask for help, right? And Tiff, as you and Caroline were speaking, one of the things that came to mind for me is, and I think that this might happen for a lot of people, is we all know that individual that is always asking for help. Even when they don't really need it, right? You know that if you call that individual, or if how many people, we all at least have one person where they call you on the phone, you see their name, you're like, oh my God, should I even answer this? Because you know it's going to be, they're going to have a pity party session. That's not what we're talking about. And I think that people think that asking for help puts you in that category. Not at all, right? This is asking for help when you need it. This is not the person that's asking for help every single time they call, or if the person that has a sob story every single time they call, right? Like if they call you 9 times out of 10, if they call you 10 times, 10 out of 10 times, it's going to be that call. This is asking for help when it's outside of your character, the person that's on the other end, they weren't even expecting it. When Tiffany called me, when I see a call from Tiffany, I'm not thinking, oh my God, let me not answer this because she's that person. I'm like, oh my God, this is Tiff, let me call her. Or let me call her back. So then when she goes and she says, look, Ty, I need help. Can you do it? Yes or no? Now I'm more attentive because she hardly ever asks for help.
But
Am
can
I
I
right
say
in that?
some, but hold on, but there's something important there.
Mhm.
But the only reason why Ty's gonna respond is because in the outside of that period of time, he's watching me swing the bat.
Yes.
So to the people who are around you, they're always watching what you're doing and not doing. And the willingness for them to help you to the extent of all the help you need is going to come from what perception they have been building or keeping of what has been happening. And it is swinging the bat. So if I hadn't been swinging the bat, I don't know that Ty would have taken my call. Ty, am I right?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. There's 2 categories of people, right? There's the individual that, and there's less of these people that go in the category of every time you call, my car broke down.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And then there's this category of people where they're not in that group. So yes, because you didn't fit in that category. And I think that's what I'm saying. So most people don't want to be part of that category because we know, how those people can come off. But yeah, if I see you and I know that you are doing the damn thing as your company name suggests, right? You're always continuously going. And then, yeah, absolutely. So the Bible talks about that to a degree. Now, I'm not a theologian, so I'll probably screw it up. But for those of you that know the Bible, right? God helps those who help themselves. Same for humans. Tiffany, you're looking at me as if that's not how it goes.
No, that was it. We're going to say yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
So we are most likely to help those who help themselves. That's why, Caroline, when you had the issue back in February, so many people rushed you because they know that you're typically the person that will do for
Swinging the bat.
self.
I like that.
Right.
Before we go, I know we're really over, but Tiffany, Christine has asked for the roadmap steps again, and I've got asking for help, being clear and open, number 2, asking for help, number 1, 3, making the decision first and make new decisions every day. Have I missed another
it's not
step?
Step number 2 is not being clear and open. I want you to think as step number 2 is being vulnerable and honest.
Yeah.
Because you can be clear and open and still hide the truth. You could be very clear and hide the truth or manufacture the truth or curate the truth. And the reason why, like if you go, and everyone should watch this video because it's an easy way to go, how do I do this? I made sure I didn't have makeup and my hair wasn't done because I needed people to see me at my raw state. It was intentional. I needed to be in my rawest state, in my rawest form without all the bells and whistles. And so that way I could use my human plea, but everything that was there needed to be part of it. The other thing that I'm going to say is that step number 4 or 5 is going to be quantifying what it is that you want. Like, what do you want to happen? The end result of me asking for help, and I know that we're over time, but I need to make sure you have this.
No,
Once
this is
I made a
fine. Take your
decision
time.
and I started asking for help, I didn't just get back up and swing the bat. What I made a decision was to acknowledge the fact that I'm on this planet running out of time. And I want to say this to every person who is here. You are running out of time. You are running out of time, period. And so instead of swinging the bat to what the game was allowing me, I made a decision to swing the bat to what I wanted to accomplish, meaning like I forgot all of the rules of the industry that I'm in. I let go of all of the rules of the ways of doing business that are normal to everybody else. And I started to create my own rules. And I looked at my 10-year objectives and I said, great, Tiffany Largie, how will you accomplish that in 1 year? So I looked at every 10-year objective that I had started 2022 with, and I took a deep breath, because most of them, half of them felt so flipping crazy. Like, I was like, Tiffany, how the hell are you going to make that happen in 12 months? And I was like, probably with the same momentum, well, with the same idea or steps that I would make it happen in 10 years. I just need to do more quicker.
So that you can compress time.
That's it. And then I was like, well, then I'm not gonna, there's no way I can do that amount of lifting, because that's a lot of lifting. I was like, I can't do that by myself. Oh, hi, you remember me? Okay, so I need help, or I have this idea, or do you know this person? Because I have a goal for myself. And my goal is I'm trying to accomplish X, Y, and Z within the next 12 months. I know it feels crazy. It does. But isn't life crazy as it is? Do you think you can help me? Or do you know someone who can? Or do you know someone who has this resource?
Wow.
So I looked at everything that I had said to myself before I leave this planet, before I go, I got to get this stuff done, because I need to give birth to it. And I took the 10 years and I asked myself, how can I get these things done in 12 months? And it's crazy, because almost 80% of the things on that list I have accomplished in the last 12 months. And I'm finishing the year, it's seeing another version of myself going, I had this capacity the whole time. Wait a second, I've been moving through these 10-year, 5-year, 4-year goals and objectives, planning these things like everybody else. And I'm like, I was capable of doing this shit the whole time. Oh my gosh. And then I
Wow.
realized that I'm only as powerful, or I'm only as possible as I believe I am. And just because Mike did it in 30 years does not mean I need 30 years for Mike's journey. That it's really possible, then I have the ability, if I'm willing to believe, trust, be present, and keep asking questions. So that's the final part of this blueprint. Quantifying what it is that I want to have happen, asking for help, great. Starting to swing the bat, great. But then quantifying, what is it that I want? What am I doing? What am I building here?
That is beautiful. You know, you said, I am only as possible as I believe I am. That is a wall quote. That is something to put up. I am only as possible as I believe I am. You know, you were talking to me, Tiffany. I recently put a post up on my Facebook profile page, and it was the toughest thing for me to put up the other day. I think I put it up yesterday. And actually it was so uncharacteristic of me that my wife saw it, and she's like, you put the post up like that? And I almost deleted this damn thing a few times, to be honest with you. So I have this hydroxyurea induced cutaneous ulcer that's on my left ankle.
Yes.
That has been a pain in the butt for me. And it's been developing for a couple of months, but it really just flared up over the last 2 weeks or so. And I've been putting this face of grace, right? Even through the pain. It is the most painful thing ever. Walking, standing, sitting, laying. I have not been able to sleep at all, right? Because of the pain, regardless of the medication or anything it takes. So I went in and on my Facebook, and I want you guys to go in and read this. And I put this post up for a few reasons. Number one, to let people know that they're not the only one that's going through something. Sometimes other people are going through things, even if they don't vocalize it. And number two, to ask for help. I had you in my mind to a degree, and I'm like, Tiffany would not be ashamed of asking, as I'm writing each word, each sentence in there. And then at the very end, I sort of had said, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. If you know any medical professionals, if you know anyone that deals with this, because this is a super rare case. It's not a regular ulcer. It's something that only happens in individuals with sickle cell anemia that have been taking hydroxyurea for chemotherapy medicine for more than 5 years. I had been taking this chemo medicine for 20 years. Typically, it happens over 5 or 6 years. I've been blessed enough to not have it happen in the first 5 years. It took 20 years. And I think that's because I'm Black Superman. And I'm like, I'm putting this thing at bay. But it took me forever. I had written a thing, And I sat there in bed for about an hour debating if I should hit post
Yeah.
because of all the things that you talked about, ego, not
Yeah.
wanting someone to see you as weak, not wanting to seem like you're begging for help. And in reality, we should be doing these things in the moment, right? So I thank you for that.
Yes. Yes.
And I
And
thank you for
yes.
being in my head right there and saying, post the damn thing, Ty. Stop playing around. Post it, post it. And that's it. So.
And then if you hadn't have done that, you know, so as a result of that, you've got several doctors in there. We're having conversations. I found some research. I didn't know about. I didn't know. I sent the picture.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. I sent the picture to doctors I know.
Yeah.
And we found this morning some research that's been done on a particular natural product.
I got
that could
phone
help.
calls, I got messages, I got Facebook messages.
There you go.
I got Caroline, and so that's the thing. So just by saying, okay, I'm going to, and you said, I'm not going to make myself bigger than this situation or something to that degree. And I'm
not going to let the situation be bigger than me.
There you go.
I can't.
And that's it. Right. So ask for help, guys. Ask for help, ask for help, ask for help. All right. Christine, you just gave me something very cool. Thank you. And look, hopefully if you guys are watching this has helped you to go in and ask for help as well. And learn from, you know, what Tiffany has shared, learn from what I've shared, learn from what Caroline has shared. Tiffany, we're definitely going to get you back. I know that we have you way over time. We appreciate you.
You're good.
All right.
Good. This has been amazing. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
This has probably been the best dose of Monday motivation we've ever had. It's fabulous. Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing you with us. And I have written 3 pages of notes on this call, and hugely impactful for so many people, which I know was your goal.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me.
We're going to get Tiffany back. We'll probably get her back on a Monday. I know Wednesdays are not good for you. And I'm going to give you more of a heads up than 3 days next time.
Yes, for sure. But I'm here. I'm ready. Always.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, go in the Facebook group and post what your biggest takeaway has been. Tiffany, I'm gonna unpin you there and I'll mute you out. Thank you again for joining us. Caroline, this was a great episode here. And, you know, like I said, this one spoke to me a lot as far as asking for help. And I think it spoke to a lot of people here. So
I think many people here, including me, and I never do this, will be going back in and watching it again. Because we've gone live. There's just the one-liners, the roadmap, and lots of different things. It's a great reminder that we're not martyrs, we're human, and we get good at mastering all these things that Tiffany's mentioned. We could literally achieve our 10 years of goals in 12 months.
Yeah.
And so what then if it takes 3 years? That was huge for me.
Yeah, and that's the magic of it, right? Learning how to compress time, and then once you're able to compress time, as Tiffany said, you're able to see that you're more possible than you believe, right? So
than you believe you are. Yeah.
I'm only as possible as I believe I am. So there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Caroline. All right, everyone. We'll see you, Kari, Jane Johnson, Michelle, Evelyn, Megan Borden. We'll see you, Chris Borden, Nancy, Rhoda, Tiffany. We'll see.
I'll see many people tonight for the training at today for you guys, 2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's for the fast pass.
Right. And if you guys look, so speaking of the fast pass, if you're interested in joining the fast pass program, if you're interested in taking your Kindle publishing business to the next level, to the next level, right? Which kind of speaks to the quote that Tiffany shared with us. I'm only as possible as I believe I am, and asking for help. That's what the fast pass is all about. Most of you guys that are watching this are in the fast pass. Most of you that are joining us, Chris Bolden, I know you're in it, and just everyone that's in, like it comes down to asking for help. And oftentimes the help is already there. Tiffany talked about going into your Rolodex. And for those of you who are millennials, going into your contacts or those who follow you on Instagram, right? And simply saying, look, I want to go in and do something better, or I need to go in. You might be in a situation where your kids are hungry, as Tiffany shared part of her story, right? You need to do something, or you're freaking frustrated. Sometimes I'll be frustrated in life. And this ulcer here that I have, they said that it could take up to a year to heal. Part of my reason for asking for help is because I don't have a year for this thing to heal. Right? It's going to heal, but you make the decision for it to heal faster, and you do it in a smart way, right? You do it with the advice of your physicians, of your doctors, right? You do it in the best, most sane, not dangerous way possible. And that's where FastPass comes into play. You ask for help. We're allowing you to compress time, right? Tiffany talked about taking her 10-year goals and asking a certain group of people, and she found out she was able to compress some of the stuff in 12 months. That's what the FastPass does. It helps you to compress time. It gives you the right help that you need. And the way that you can go in and set up a call to join us in the FastPass is just simply by going to kindlecashflow.com/call. So kindlecashflow.com/CALL, or simply reaching out to Caroline, one of the best of the best. So Caroline,
do that first. Yeah.
she says,
Like
do that
Tiffany,
first.
yeah, you do that first. Like Tiffany, I always respond to it. Everyone that knows me here knows that I'll always get back to you within sort of 1 to 2 days anyway. So yeah, just contact me, and we can talk about what how we help, and what we can do in there for you. Lots of opportunities for questions and the rest.
The best way, because I'm going to post this on YouTube also, Caroline, so there might be people who have never heard of a Ty Cohen or a Caroline trainer. Best way to reach you is what? On Facebook?
Yes, although, yeah, and it's Caroline Desange on Facebook, as we know. Same as here, spelt in the same way. Caroline Trainer, I need to change this, on Instagram. That account wasn't effective back in February when things went crazy. But also, of course, I say me first, but that was partly, I run the training in the FastPass, so I can answer your questions, but all the coaches can. And if anyone's talking to any coaches, then please go back and talk to those coaches as well. You may have met them at live events, you know them anyway, but typically it's a case of just sort of finding out what we offer and seeing whether that would fit your goal and plan,
All right.
Yeah.
Caroline is the best to ask, because she's running the actual show, and when it comes to the FastPass. So Caroline, CAROLINE, and then last name Desange, DOSANJH, right? I got it?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, we're going to close out. We'll see you. Don't forget, we're starting the Get It Done Challenge next Monday. You can go in and get a free ticket to the Get It Done Challenge by going to Ty Cohen, TYCOHEN.com/MOC. I'll be there. Caroline will be there, and a few more of our team members will be there as well. So for Get It Done Challenge, we're going to show you how to create your own digital product in less than 6 days. A digital product that you get to own, a digital product that you get to sell and keep 100% of the profits. So tycohen.com/MOC. So M as in mini, O as in Oscar, C as in challenge. All right, we'll see you. Stay well. Thanks again, Tiffany. Thank you. Bye-bye. Go on the Facebook group, guys, and post. Let us know what your biggest takeaway from Tiffany has been, and tag her in it.